G'day everyone and welcome to a special interview we've got this morning with Crow's number one ruckman and favourite around the club, Reilly O'Brien. How you going, Reilly?
Yeah, good, Rob. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, lovely to have you, mate. And you told me beforehand that bright and early up for another training run. What's on this morning at the club?
Yeah, we're back into it this week. We've had a few days off for a long weekend, sort of 3 days coming into the season, and now back into the in-season schedule, getting ready for round one today. So we've got a little training session today, a bit of gym, and get back into it. So start preparing for a really big week.
Yeah. Do you have any set schedule about scouting the opposition, or do you run through tapes, or is that just sort of something that's left to yourself, like you'll be going up, against your opposing ruckman? Do you sort of watch the tapes and all that sort of stuff this week?
Yeah, the week's pretty structured around that. We start normally early in the week. We'd obviously be reviewing our game from the weekend. So Monday, Tuesday, we'd be having a lot of meetings, reviewing the game just gone, and then from Wednesday's our sort of main training day, and we'd have a meeting in the morning as a team, looking forward to that, and then we'd be able to train that day, and then do a lot more on the Friday in our lines and a bit more specific. And in that time, we'll do a lot of individual stuff. So yeah, I'll do a lot with my opposing ruckman, with Doc Clark, the ruck coach, and watch a lot of clips and just establish a pretty clear plan going in. And yeah, we do a fair bit of oppo analysis, and yeah, that throughout the week. But yeah, it's pretty important going into a game.
So who do you expect to come up against this week against Freo? Just quietly, because obviously they've had a changing of the guard with their ruck situation.
Yeah, Sean Darcy will be in there, so he's pretty handy player, so he'll be a good challenge first up, and looking forward to that. He was obviously in the All-Australian squad last year, so he's had a really good year, and it's great to come up against the best straight away and really put into practice what I've been training and working on all pre-season. So yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, I bet. Now, we've had a bit of not an injury interrupted, but a COVID interrupted pre-season. We've struggled to get blokes on the park for some of the community series and certainly some of the SANFL trial games. How's the club shaping up in terms of personnel leading up to round one?
Yeah, it was obviously a bit of an annoyance to have a few guys go down before those games, but it could be a bit of a silver lining coming into the season, because I guess guys won't be going down in season, so we're sort of safe from that perspective. But yeah, in terms of coming into round one, we're not far off full strength. Obviously, Rory Laird going down with his hand with a bit of a blow.
Yeah.
Geordie Dawson's right around the mark with his calf, so he's back in the main group, and hopefully he's good to go Sunday, because he'll be a huge boost.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then obviously we're pretty much full strength, apart from missing Paul Season and Steele, and missing Tex for the first few games. So that'll all be missed, but we've got plenty of blokes that are training really well and coming up, and we'll fill their spots. Yeah.
So I mean, you started on when you made your debut in 2016. So you've seen some highs and lows with the club, but it certainly must be an exciting time at the moment, going through the quote-unquote rebuild and seeing so many new faces come through the club. Has it been something that you've been able to take a leadership role in as you develop a new midfield group?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I came into the club to a pretty established group and team. I got there in end of 2014, and the team didn't really change much for the next 4 or 5 years, and like an old guard sort of there, and it was a great group and had a lot of success. But yeah, from I guess 2020 onwards, it's been a bit of a reset, and it's been really exciting to be a part of that, and sort of starting from scratch with a completely new group, and see the growth in a lot of young guys is super exciting. And I think we're starting to build something really special, albeit it does take a little bit of time, but I think we'll take huge strides this year. And it's been awesome to, I guess, in my stage of my career, getting a little bit more experienced, being able to, I guess, help younger guys and take more of a leadership role, and really drive the culture and the behaviours and standards, and ultimately a winning culture that we want to establish here.
Yeah. Yeah, and just on your start to your career, there was a period of time there where Sauce Jacobs, I swear he would have come out on crutches or a wheelchair or, something like that. He tended to play with a lot. Did that used to frustrate you a little bit, like knowing that you were fit and ready to go and Sauce was kind of labouring at times? Did you ever feel like, maybe putting a banana peel in front of him or something just to get a run?
Yeah, we did have I remember when I was playing with 2, he did have the record for the most consecutive games in the league, or something about 100 and something. And it was getting ridiculous. He's so durable and able to just bounce back every week and play really good footy. So, yeah, it certainly got frustrating at times, but it's the nature of the position. The ruck was only one spot, and I was trying to bang the door down as much as I could, but there wasn't much I could do. And then Pikey was, he was a great coach, and I loved him, but he was very, I guess, conservative in his selection as well. So he sort of stuck with what he knew, and that obviously achieved great things. So it was a frustrating period for a few years there, but I think it, in the long run, made me hungrier and made me a better player.
Yeah, good things come to those who wait, mate. And Sauce is back around the club now. You mentioned Doc Clark earlier as your main ruck coach. Does Sauce have any input at all into your rucking or your general play?
No, not at the moment. He's all upstairs with the community team. So I don't really see him much around the club, especially with all the COVID restrictions. So maybe I'll have to get him down at some stage to give me some advice. But no,
you're probably sick of seeing him.
No. So I might see him around and get him down for a session if Doc's away.
Yeah. So you mentioned, of course, changing of the guard, a new group and all the rest of it. What have you noticed has been the main differences in the coaching styles between Don and Matty Nix?
Good question. Nix, he's very people focused, very people and culture focused, I suppose, and that's been great for our group. So it's been a really good vibe here, and we talk about prioritising others and looking after each other, and the footy sort of flowing off that. And it's a really enjoyable place to come in. It was the same with Pike. He wasn't as much emphasis on it, but he was probably more, probably a bit more technical in his coaching and the way we played. But yeah, both. He was great. I found him a really, really good coach, and slightly different styles in that regard.
Yeah, it feels from the outside like the club has placed a huge significance on culture shift. We've got Daniel Jackson in there, who I'm sure you've had some dealings with, and every player that I've spoken to over the last 12 months has spoken about the great culture and certainly working for your mates and for your teammates, etc. Do you think that's probably been the biggest change in the club from a playing point of view, from the recent personnel changes?
Yeah, definitely. There's been a huge emphasis on that, and Dan Jackson's been awesome for the club, and I get along with him really well, and he's helped me a lot personally. But as a group, he just drives along with Nixie and the rest of the coaching staff. Yeah, really people-focused culture, and a place where you really want to be, and you love building trust and connection between the players, and that ultimately will play out in the field in years to come. Build that really strong culture first, and then you can, on top of that, obviously working on the football side of things. But without that culture, it's hard to become a really great team and really gel and have a successful, I guess, long-term approach. You look at Richmond, you look at other teams that have, the basis of their success has been a really strong culture and a really strong connection between the playing group and the coaches.
It seems that way, doesn't it? We saw Melbourne last year come through and again, looking from the outside, their culture seems really tight, and they've been able to rebuild that culture after years in the doldrums, and I guess it's a key plank these days, isn't it? And I guess from that perspective, the leadership group, is it function the same as it has in the past, or is there more sort of communication amongst the various levels of players, if you like, between the senior players and the juniors or the ones coming through?
Yeah, definitely. We're sort of I mean, I think a lot of clubs have, and including us, have moved away from just a hierarchical system where it's sort of coaches and leaders at the top telling everyone else what to do. It's sort of more involved with everyone getting input. So we'll have leadership group meetings, and every time we'll have a few different players come in every week and give their thoughts on different issues and different things around the club. And yeah, it's a really player-driven, inclusive approach, and everyone's sort of committed and buying in, rather than just the guys at the top telling you what to do and telling you how to behave. It's when everyone buys in and is responsible and driving the culture. That's when you get the good results and the really strong, the really strong culture from top to bottom.
Yeah, we interviewed Ned and Harry Schomburg last year, and both of those lads and also Jackson was saying how they wanted to make an immediate impact on the club and drive the change. Have you found that the young blokes coming in, I mean, I'm sure Ned never shuts up, but have you found the young blokes coming in have really put themselves forward rather than just sitting in the corner of the change rooms?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's been a huge shift I've noticed in my time in footy. I think the young guys, culturally young people coming through now are a lot more confident and I guess willing to speak up, whereas back in probably 10 years ago it was more guys at the top sort of were the ones speaking and had to say, and I guess you're expected as a young guy just to bite your tongue and not contribute. But now it's sort of, we really encourage those guys to come in, be on the front foot, give us their views, give us feedback if we do something wrong on the field or off the field, to really embrace them giving us feedback and trying to make us better. So yeah, gone are the days where it's hierarchical and it's just shut up and sit in the corner if you're a young bloke. We definitely encourage that and encourage really good buy-in from everyone across the board.
Yeah. So the first couple of years of Nixie's tenure and with a fresh group, etc., the game plan was reasonably simple. Looking from the outside, it was very much about contested ball and winning, 50-50 contests. Do you think that the group is starting to mature now, that we can develop a bit more of an outside game this year and put a couple of different things in place?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, with a young group, we had a rough year in 2020. We probably went back to basics and just winning contests and played pretty simple footy offensively. But yeah, with a bit more experience, a bit more talent coming in, able to definitely add a few more strings to our bow offensively and really get some exciting footy going for sure. So yeah, and there's really good. Nixie's great coach. He's got great coaches around him. Added in last year with Scotty Burns and Jimmy Reilly and Nathan Mabilo, and they've been awesome. So really confident in the coaching group, and so it should be good.
It sounds like there's a lot of buy-in from the group about what the coaches are putting together.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think, and it's not just them telling us what to do either. So it's players contributing. It's a dynamic sort of approach, and that's when you get the buy-in and you get the trust and ultimately get a game plan that is working, and looking forward to putting into practice this week and for the rest of the year.
And I guess a bit of personnel as well doesn't hurt, and you've got Geordie Dawson coming this year and probably Junior coming back from a long break out of footy. Does that just lift the boys again, that we've got a bit of outside run and we've just added to that talent pool, I guess, with Geordie, and good to get Wayne back?
Yeah, they're probably two of the best kicks in our team. So, and great outside running players. So they'll definitely provide a lot of spark offensively and really open up the game for us. So they'll be huge additions. And then it'd be great to have Matty Crouch back as well. He's sort of a new player almost as well, so he'll be awesome to have inside, and a great decision maker and great ball user as well.
So having Matty back, just watching it last week, having Matty back really changes the composition of the midfield, doesn't it? Kind of frees up a couple of blokes to play a bit more in-out rather than playing that inside role. And Leedy going down, of course, we lose one from the coalface for a couple of games. But of the young lads, Harry Schomburg's always been the one that's excited me. Who else do you see, or, you can talk about Harry, or who are those young blokes coming through, him and Sam maybe coming through into that midfield group?
Yeah, Shelly's super exciting. He's got great ability inside and outside, and he's got that burst of speed. And boys coming out of that midfield, which can really set him apart. So I'm excited to see what he can do. I think he'll be a very, very good player for many years to come. And then he said Sam Berry. Sam Berry's, he's going to be a great player too. He's just so hard inside and puts his head, in the hole and tackles non-stop. So he's going to be a great inside player. And then guys, one we probably haven't seen a lot of is Luke Pedlar, who's going to be very exciting when he gets his body fully firing. He's when he's up and going, he's got that incredible burst out of stoppage, and is very, very tough around the ball. And then his ability to burst away from contests is his X factor. He's got a lot of speed, so he's another one to watch in the years to come. But so hopefully he gets a crack at it early in the year and can show us what he can do.
Yeah. And you mentioned Luke getting his body right. We got Burjo in this year for the next few years. Have the blokes seen a bit of a change in the fitness program?
Burjo's been good. He's, I guess we had a really good off season, and he had a good program set up for us. And I guess as a group, we got really, really fit, and we're able to basically do footy drills and match play the whole pre-season from basically December. So we're super match fit and done a lot of work, relevant work over the pre-season in terms of improving our game style and practice of that. So Burjo's been awesome.
Fantastic
so far, and a lot of guys are in a really good shape, injury wise and stuff. Everyone's feeling really fit and firing. So sets up well for a good year.
And your own spot, mate. You've got the journeyman Kieran Strawn sitting one back and off the rails, and you've also got the young buck in Reilly Thilthorpe, who's been playing forward but can also get thrown into the ruck, and even Elliot and Billy can have a crack. Does that give the club some flexibility in terms of how we set up going forward, not only with the ruck spot but with your own ability to push forward at times and rotate around a bit?
Yeah, definitely. Having those guys up forward, Reilly and Elliot, are more than capable of playing fair chunks in the ruck. So, definitely something I've been working on, trying to get forward, and especially in the ruck, sprint getting really hard forward, taking my opponent out and kicking goals. So, able to do that a lot more over this pre-season, and certainly trying to do that coming into games. And then, it does give a bit more flexibility. I'd love to be able to get deep and take marks. That's where you, I guess, do the most damage. So rather than taking marks in the back half, so I'd love to be able to really push hard forward this year and kick a few goals. And having those guys there helps in that sense.
Don't underestimate the value of you going back and clunking one in defence, mate, because you've saved more than a few goals by sticking yourself in the hole down back. So that's just as valuable at times. Just on the goal kicking, does it actually annoy you when seagulls like Brodie Smith run around the back of you all the time looking for a cheapie, when you've got the situation well in hand with regards to having a kick for goal or kicking? Like, it's cheap stats. Surely it's stat padding, right?
Yeah, they do love it. Brodie Smith and full season and guys like that. But I'm very happy if it's 45 plus outs to give it to those guys, because they're pretty dead eye most of the time. So I'll keep backing them in if they keep running. But and they do spray me if I don't give it. So sometimes easy just to give it.
Just save the heartache during match committee or team meeting afterwards. Yeah, and look, just quickly on Reilly, Thilthorpe, obviously, I don't know, we're not privy to whether the club sees him more as a forward or as a forward ruck going forward, but has he sort of come under your wing in terms of his ruck craft?
We've done a little bit together, in terms of ruck stuff. And I'll certainly try and help him a lot and talk to him a lot about, because obviously forward and ruck craft's similar in terms of, contested marking and some of the other skills in there, and then some of his ruck stuff. But he's been honing his forward craft mainly. Long term, he'll be a big key forward. So and a little bit of time in the ruck. So he's been working really hard on that, and I'm super excited to see what he can do, because he's got a lot of talent. Moves very, very well amazingly well for a big bloke. Great skills. If he puts it all together, he'd be very hard to stop.
Yeah, definitely. And of this year's crop, of course, we got young Reilly, who's shown a bit, and Jake Sligo, and we haven't seen anything of Nankervis yet, or the other lad's name, who I always forget, is Turner.
Zach Taylor.
That's it. I always forget his name. I don't know why. He's a forgotten man. But that's another exciting crop coming through.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Joshua Reilly is super exciting. I've seen what he can do the last couple of weeks in the practice games. Kicked 3 goals each game, and he's been kicking goals all pre-season. His goal sense is pretty freaky. He's you can't really teach it what he's got in terms of his ability. Just to when he gets the ball within 30, it's going through the goals generally, and he's got great sense around there. So he'll be add some great potency to our forward line. And then the other guys you mentioned, Jakey Soligo, who's played really good footy as well. I knew he was right in the mix for round one as a hard-working, tough, skillful wingman. And then Zachy Taylor and Lukey Nankervis have been great as well. So they're ones to watch for the future.
Yeah, definitely. And just before we finish up, mate, and I really appreciate the time that you've given us this morning. I'm sure a lot of Crows fans have a bit of concern about Seed. I don't want you to give anything away, obviously, but how's he tracking? How's he travelling? Is he going all right?
Yeah, he's tracking okay. Yeah, he's on an upwards trend, so he's definitely getting better and better. But it's a bit of a slow process, and they're pretty conservative with anything related to the head.
Definitely.
So obviously, his long-term sort of health.
Yeah.
The priority, so they're certainly not rushing him, and he's progressing well though. So hopefully he's back to full health soon, and then footy's obviously I guess the second priority to that, but hopefully back into footy throughout the year, and hopefully earlier rather than later.
Yeah. Well, we're all thinking about him, so let's hope he is able to recover from that fully. Mate, it's been fantastic talking to you on a public holiday Monday morning. Really appreciate the time that you've given us. We're all pretty excited as Crows fans about what's been on display over the last 12 to 18 months as we regroup and build a new list and a new culture. It's fantastic to see, and it looks very positive, and you're an integral part of that, mate. So congratulations and all the very best for the season ahead.
Thank you very much, Rob. Really appreciate having me on.
Good on you. Thanks, Reilly.